Now to a special report from our partners at France Caraïbe Broadcast. A long-standing member of the Martinique National Assembly has retired after 20 years of unbroken service. President of the Martinican Independence Party, Alfred Marie-Jeanne, bade farewell to the National Assembly in Paris after 5 consecutive terms. As we hear in this special report, Jeanne has been an advocate for the agricultural sector in Martinique dating back to 1997.
I didn't betray you. These are the last words pronounced by the member Alfred Marie-Jeanne to the tribune of the National Assembly, the French Parliament. The 80-year-old Martinican finished his deputation as it had begun in 1997 by an intervention on the agriculture in Martinique. Between these 2 interventions, 20 years have passed, and I have not ceased to call on the successive governments. Despite all the tools put in place that you mentioned in part, the situation has continued to deteriorate. The action of the member from Rivière-Pilote was welcomed by his neighbor member from Sainte-Marie. Alfred Marie-Jeanne was a monument. It's necessary to salute his charisma, its dynamism, and its real will to advance causes. Some sits farther in the hemicycle. It's especially the form that it's retained from the member Marie-Jeanne. It's someone who was appreciated. There are characters who leave the hemicycle, and I do care. We also need characters who come out of the ordinary and who are capable with many qualities to defend their convictions. Of the minister, I'm not used to whistle or to blow the whistle a minister, let alone in this hemicycle. When I intervene with conviction, and no one will make me change. Even within the government is considered to stand out among the 576 other members of the parliament. I ask you that at the hour of my death, there will be no an announcement or a minute of silence. I do not need it. Before I retire, you should know that I'm in pain. I'm really in pain for this Europe which is dissolving itself. And I'm also in pain for this France that is going back to become Nazi. Members with the likes of Alfred Marie-Jeanne, they are not so common. It's actually someone who chooses his fights, who doesn't intervene on all the texts, but when he intervenes, it's better when one is facing him strong opinions, because his determination is quite notable, and his eruptive temper doesn't necessarily help the debate permanently pacified. Alfred Marie-Jeanne's fiery debates in the National Assembly have ended, but her political struggle will continue in his other assemblies, the territorial collectivity of Martinique.
We thank our partners at France Caraïbe Broadcast for this week's submission, and we encourage you to join us every week for news from the French West Indies. And ahead in news.